India's entire coffee scene is absolutely exploding right now, and we're going to break down exactly why. So in this explainer, we'll first dig into the massive market opportunity. We're talking growth, money, and this whole new wave of coffee lovers. Then, we're going to get super practical and walk through a real-world blueprint for opening your own cafe.
So what's behind all this buzz? Well, it really starts with this one number, 11.5%. That's the compound annual growth rate that India's coffee shop market is expected to hit. And we're not talking about a little blip here. This is some serious, sustained, explosive growth, year after year.
And this chart, wow, it really puts that growth into perspective. We're looking at a market that's around $380 million today. But get this, it's projected to skyrocket to over $1 billion in less than a decade. That just shows you the sheer scale of the opportunity that's brewing all across the country.
But behind these huge billion-dollar numbers, it's all about people. So who exactly is this new Indian coffee drinker? What is pulling them into cafes like never before?
Well, it's pretty much a perfect storm of social and economic changes. You've got cities getting bigger and bigger, which brings more people together. At the same time, incomes are rising, so people have more cash to spend. You have this massive youth demographic. 65% of the population is under 35, and they're really embracing global trends. And, maybe most importantly, people are desperate for a third space. Somewhere that isn't home and isn't the office, where they can work, hang out, and just connect.
And here they are. You can see it's not just one group. You've got young urban professionals who need a cool, casual spot for meetings. Then, of course, there are the students, looking for good Wi-Fi and a caffeine fix to get through exams. And you can't forget families and groups of friends who want a relaxed place to catch up. Plus, that growing army of remote workers and digital nomads who've basically turned the corner table into their new office. They're all part of this boom.
Of course, whenever you see this much opportunity, you know what comes next, right? Competition. The market is definitely heating up, and it's absolutely crucial to understand who the big players are before you even think about jumping in.
So you've really got two main camps fighting it out. On one side, you have the giants. Think Starbucks, Cafe Coffee Day. They play the game of scale, consistency, and pure brand power. You know what you're going to get. But on the other side, you have these fantastic independent specialty shops. They're competing on a totally different level, with unique experiences, amazing quality, and a real sense of community. They're going after a customer who wants something a little more special.
And this brings us to a really important insight from an industry expert. Listen to what Amit Bagga says here. He's suggesting that the biggest opportunities might not actually be in the super crowded big cities like Mumbai or Delhi. The real action, the true growth frontier, is in these Tier 2 cities where a unique, locally focused shop can really shine. Okay, so the market is huge. We get it. The potential is off the charts. But what does it actually take to get a slice of that billion-dollar pie? Let's pivot from that 30,000-foot view and get right down to the ground floor. We are going to get practical. Let's break down a super detailed business plan for a new specialty coffee shop in Pune, which is a perfect example of one of these booming Tier 2 cities. This is a real blueprint for an aspiring entrepreneur. Let's call him Mr. Rajesh Kumar.
All right, let's talk about the money. For a pretty standard 800 square foot space, what are the major costs you've got to plan for right from day one?
The biggest chunk of your initial investment, no surprise, is for machinery and equipment. We're talking about the absolute heart of your operation. Your commercial espresso machine, grinders, refrigerators, the whole shebang. This is the engine of your cafe, and you really can't cut corners here.
Next up, furniture and fixtures. And this is so much more than just tables and chairs, right? This is the atmosphere. It's the lighting, the counter, everything your customers see and touch. This is where you create that vibe that makes people want to come in and actually stay for a while.
And now for the one that people so often underestimate, working capital. This is the cash you need in the bank to pay your rent, your staff, your suppliers, for those first critical months before you're really making money. Being underfunded here is, honestly, one of the top reasons new businesses fail.
So, you've put up the cash, you've built the place. Now, how do you make that money back and actually turn a profit? Let's look at the journey from day one to running a sustainable, successful business.
Okay, first, we have to talk about the most important milestone for any new business, the break-even point. It sounds technical, but it's really simple. It's that magic moment when you stop losing money and start making it. Every single coffee you sell after that point is profit.
So what's the magic number for our Pune cafe? Are you ready for this? It's just 16. That's it. Based on this business plan, they only need to sell to 16 customers a day to cover all their fixed costs. Anything more than 16 is profit. I mean, when you put it like that, the whole thing suddenly feels incredibly doable, doesn't it? And just look at how that profitability can grow. In year 1, the projection is already a healthy net profit of over 7 lakh. But look at year 2. That number more than triples to over 24 lakh. And by year 3, it's projected to cross 32 lakh. This just proves how a well-run cafe can scale its profits really, really quickly.
Okay, now for the number that the bank is really going to care about. It's called the Debt Service Coverage Ratio, or DSCR. A 1.47 in the very first year means the cafe is projected to bring in 47% more cash than it needs to cover its loan payments. For any lender, that is a massive green light. It tells them this is a safe bet.
So we've covered a ton of ground, from these huge market trends all the way down to a single cafe's financial plan. So what are the absolute key takeaways? What should you remember if you're sitting there dreaming about opening your own place?
Think of this as your startup checklist. First, look beyond the big, saturated metro areas to those Tier 2 cities. Second, obsess over your location. Seriously, it's the #1 factor for success. 3, you have to have a clear identity. Don't just open another coffee shop. Be a specialty roaster, a community hub, something unique. And 4, do not underestimate your cash needs. Make sure you have enough working capital to get you through that first critical year.
So there you have it. The opportunity is massive, the financial model is proven. We've seen exactly how a solid plan can turn a passion for coffee into a really profitable business. The blueprint is clear. The only question left is, are you ready to brew?